We're live from eMerge Americas at the Endeavor Miami podcast here from the Dell for Startups booth, and I have as our guest Trevor, who is our co-founder of WorldSafe1st. Welcome, Trevor.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Trevor, entrepreneurship is so important for our community, right? And I think that also everyone that has the dream to someday be an entrepreneur and build a business and just make their ideas a reality, have access to resources. And I know that is really connected to your heart. Can you share a little bit about why you think this is important and about your journey?
Yes. Well, the first thing I like to say is that if we don't have access to resources, then we can't complete the mission, right? And the underserved or the entrepreneur community, the untraditional entrepreneur community, generally has had a problem accessing resources. And what we found, being one of those type of entrepreneurs, that when you focus on, or when organizations like eMerge and other organizations focus on getting resources to those underserved entrepreneurs, we tend to make a bigger impact. Because the entrepreneur without resources is the dreamer. That's the one who has to come up with unique solutions to problems because we don't have the resources, and sometimes that solves many problems in one. And without it, our community is just not practicing innovation, and I think that's the death of any community.
I agree. I mean, innovation comes out from our community. Like every single human being has ideas in their head. It's about making them a reality and having access, to the resources that can allow them to bring them to reality. And I know that you told me about your journey, which is so inspirational.
Thank you.
And can you share a bit of why you taught entrepreneurship to so many people who didn't have access to dream or to become entrepreneurs?
Yes. So education, again, it heals communities. And I was incarcerated, and while I was incarcerated, I taught entrepreneurship, alternative investing, and things to other inmates. And the reason why is because, one is hope. You need hope. Two is I realized that most of the individuals that were incarcerated where I was, they were incarcerated because they were focusing on making revenue or creating a business that may not have been legal. I'll give that. But the premise still remained in my mind. They were entrepreneurs, and we needed to understand that where we came from, the realization that entrepreneurship may be different. And once we realized that, it was to find the resources that fit us as entrepreneurs. All resources are not made equally here.
I agree.
And so that's the important part. I taught people there because we all have an entrepreneurial spirit. And I just think that the realization that we could do other things and we could do positive things with the use of entrepreneurship to better our community, I thought that a message to people that were incarcerated who generally had previously destroyed their communities, I thought it may be a good tool for rehabilitation and transition. It works for me.
You were shining a light on them. You were showing them that there was a way, and a different way that could make them happy by making, their dreams and ideas come true, and then paying it forward one day like you are. You started paying it forward while you were incarcerated, right?
Yes.
Because you found your true passion of education and learning, because you taught yourself.
Yes.
And then what happened next when you got out? Like, how did you become an entrepreneur and build several businesses successfully?
Well, when I taught inside, and through teaching you learn. So when teaching, I learned how to be this entrepreneur. So I was released. I said, give me a plane ticket. They give you a plane ticket and $50. It was in August of 2016, and I said, Silicon Valley, send me to San Francisco. I had never been there. I had been incarcerated since I was 17. At this time, I was 47. But you know what? I went, and I joined the accelerator there, and my first product, Gun Bale, was a success, and I just kept going from there, trying to rebuild and help my community. But again, it's through entrepreneurship. If there's no other way that I can see me helping my community and helping the world, there's no better way I can do it than create products and services that help the masses, right? The people that can't help themselves.
And so what brought you to Miami?
I was doing that, and I was working trying to prevent school shootings in 2019 and 2020. In December, I won an Amazon City on the Cloud Innovation Award worldwide.
Very
and
impressive.
I was surprised. And so...
Why? You deserve it. You earned it.
Right, and so when it happened, they did a press release. It was a lot of publicity. And at the time, I had built out one of the first contact tracing tools for COVID. I pivoted and restructured my anonymous reporting tool for gun violence. And the state called me and said, hey,
you have something?
Yeah, could you please help us? So we were one of the only minority vendors in the state of Florida to distribute a vaccine for the Centers for Disease Control and Governor DeSantis. We had a statewide contract. It was quite a few. It was a large contract. Yes. And from there, we finished. We tested vaccines to skip trace or contact traced over 1 million individuals in this region. So we thought, what could we do next? And we found out that there were millions of victims of crime who hadn't received compensation. So we called Amazon again. We built out our fintech and our case management portal. And we started processing claims for the Victims of Crime Act, the DOJ, USFBA, and different federal agencies.
So, serial entrepreneur, very impressive, and I think the sky's the limit. I mean, you have an incredible partner you're working with. You're very fortunate. She's incredible.
Yes. And we have a large team.
I know.
Everybody that comes.
I know. And thank you for trusting in Endeavor.
Well, Endeavor has done something. We come from an accelerator background. That's where we met. That's where I was the entrepreneur in residence for one of the premier accelerators for a few years. But the thing that I notice now in times when we're talking about entrepreneurship and why it's needed, what Endeavor's doing is needed. It's straight to the resources. Just what we're talking about, right? It isn't the pomp and circumstances. What does the entrepreneur need, and what can we align that entrepreneur with? With most good entrepreneurs, that's all we need. We'll do the rest. And Endeavor is a shining example. I told Wilmy, I said, there's no fluff.
Yeah,
and that's what you get with a lot of programs. If you just want to come in and you want to get to the resources, you want to meet those subject matter experts, and consultants and things that come from those industries, Endeavor's the best way to go. That's something that we did. We were able to connect with a professional, a multi-decade professional in the federal space at every agency that we needed to Endeavor. It was amazing. And also our fintech capabilities and everything, with a lot of the connections that Endeavor introduced us to allowed us to go a little bit further to create the product and the service that we need for this community.
I'm happy to know that we've been very helpful in your journey, and I agree with you. I mean, we exist because of people like you, and our core is to support the entrepreneurs and connect them to resources in order for you to succeed. So I appreciate and the trust that you put in us, and it's just the beginning, because now you're a part of our family forever. So
yes.
Thank you, Trevor, for joining me today at our podcast.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks.